Greetings and salutations. I'm so happy to have finally gotten over the trauma of not being able to talk to you when I want and using my usual setup. So, I've decided that I want to use one of my girls to make a digi from my art as kind of a test run. I'm not sure whether you would be happy to have a girl, but I'm going to enjoy myself making her. So, this girl is one of my watercolor practice pieces from 2017. So I cut her out, and I found a piece of lace that I thought looked nice with her, and some of my lace bits from my stash. And I figured out how to put these together so that I could make a copy, and that involved a lot of making Scotch tape rings and gluing her down to a piece of cardstock, and gluing this piece down, and gluing these. And let me show you where I am now, what she has become. This is going to be the background of my digi. So, here she is as the background. I'm rather tickled with this, the printer. I visualized her on this very, very, very pale mauve, and as you can see, it's white paper, but I'm not one to argue with that, with the thingamajiggy in the printer that sees color. So, here are the makings, and here is my project. I've been thinking and thinking about this on and off, because a lot of the time I spend feeling sorry for myself about this world that requires that computers go home to daddy in order to be upgraded. So, I want to use everything that is mine on this one. That's rule number one. And I thought I would build up some layers. So she, with her pieces of lace, is the background. She is laying on top of this piece of lace because I have, in my mind, I see other things around her that will cover her up, and she will be kind of peeking out. So, for my first hit on this layer, for layer number 2, I've dug out and literally had to go wallowing to find these stamps that I had hand cut. And there they are. And then I decided to use a little background if I needed it for a stencil bit. So I just scribbled down some diamond shapes on this piece of well-used leaf stencils that I'd made, probably in 2016. And I just cut this out. No thought, no noise in my head, just had at it. So that will help for backgrounds, and that might help for backgrounds or not. But when in doubt, the motto of my BFF and I has always been, when in doubt, plunge. So I'm plunging, and I'm thinking I might put some light colors on here just to add a little touch to the background. So, I've already, while I was beginning my little tantrum about not having my setup here, I did this to the drawer. It looks good. It made me feel good. And that's the bottom line there. I'm wondering whether I want tattered rose or Victorian velvet because of her facial colors. And I think she could also benefit from a little bit of tea dye. Let's go here and find the tea dye. There it is. Tea dye. Okay. So. Let's get started here. I think I'm going to do Tattered Rose, although that one might work nicely. Spun Sugar might work nicely. Or both of them. Or both of them. And a little bit of, maybe just a little tiny touch of peeled paint. Peeled paint should be green. There it is. Okay. Ready, set, go. What my pinks are on here. This is easier said than done. Let's see what this one is. Well, what I'm not seeing is a little tattered rose. So we're just going to plunge. Yes, we are. Okay. And maybe a little Victorian velvet. I might like that one. Now, I have not done any stamping using my own, so I should imagine it works. It works the same way. Here we are. Yes, here we are. Tattered Rose. And let's try this one first. Let's see what's going to happen here, if anything. Well, it looks like something's there on top of that stays on. No, I'm not sure. But that I don't want it to be right there. And I want it to be very pale. Good, hardly there. Very nice with that facial color. Let me see. I'm thinking I want a little bit more of that up here. Yes, I do. Oh yes, that does very nicely with the shades of her complexion. Okay. And that's about as close as I'm going to get to cleaning those. Now, a little bit of spun sugar. Good. Just a hint down there. And let's have a hint of this one up in that corner. Oh, yes. Okay. Clean up. A little bit of Victorian velvet. My. See, I thought I was buying a regular size portion of this, and this little bit of pitiful came in the mail. Now, why don't I just see what we can do here? And here. Oh, yes. I'm needing some of that now. I certainly am. How about some right up there to make a falling off the page statement too, and kind of close to her. Yes. Well, yay for Victorian velvet. Yay for Victorian velvet. Off the page. And the third one right there. Close, but not intruding. I don't mind the lace being on her face, but I have my limits. So, where are we now? Okay. Coming along. Clean up. Up it is, and I'm thinking just a little bit of this peeled paint as a for a leaf. Ooh, alrighty now. Don't want there to be too much. Off the page. Here. And doing three. Let's put this one right up here. That'll work with these two flowers. And a smidge up there. Again, off the page. I don't know how much of this is going to show after I do whatever it is that comes over me around her head. But we'll see. If I put one more here, which I'm inclined to do because of these two, and this one that's hiding, but it's there, I'm going to have to put another one. But let me do this first. Let me do this first. Here's the one, the two, the three. Let's go right in there. And of course, that leaves us right there. I have a feeling that that is certainly going to be covered. Seriously covered, but okay. Okay, getting close to calling that mission accomplished. Now, let's have some tea dye. Let's have some tea dye. What will happen now? What will happen now? Oh, Geronimo, yes, works now, but I'm going to use less depth. I'm going to use less depth, and I'm going to just put this down. Put that down. Because I can, and plays off the skin tone on her face. I can just treat that as another leaf. Whoa, yes I can. This is a leaf if you look at it that way. Alrighty. Okay. And there's this flower and this one. Let's try for there. And let's try. Ouch. Now, Carol, you don't need to say ouch because you drop a sponge. Okay. When you're not here, I talk to myself even more. Okey-dokey. 2, 4, 5. Let's see. Let's see where that leaves us. Well, I so don't know what's going to happen next. I really do not. What have I got? What have I got that's going to permit me? Let's see what happens. I want to fill up those spaces just a little bit. Here we go with some spun sugar. Well, let's do it horizontally instead of vertically, Carol. Let's see what happens. Yes, yes. Oh, horizontally over here. Well, isn't this just hiding a multitude of sins? Okay. That has to be horizontal. Oh, no, 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 no. Parallel, Carol. Let's do it now. Come on, use your lines. Use your lines. Let's use the lines. Let's see, do we have enough background developed? Yes, starting to be there. Starting to be there. Now, get this cleaned up. This needs some dark. But what kind of dark? Ooh, I'm going to have a think. I'll be back momentarily. Actually going to find something that I have in my mind. This is one of my learning girls from way back in June 2016. She's a little pensive looking for me, but I was starting to learn how to use combinations of media to do faces. Well, that's that aside. I love, love, love these. And I'm thinking that might be just what the doctor ordered up here in this side to give us that dark. I could put them about. And then I have to solve the problem of her. Could probably go down a similar road, but not exactly like that. Now, what I'm going to do is use some of that good old-fashioned stuff and some of this stuff. I haven't had tracing paper. Well, look what I have here. Oh. Oh. Oh, yes. Oh. No rabbit holing today, Carol. None. This is all about a piece of needlepoint that I was inventing for myself using a piece of my watercolor. Okay, stop, Carol. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace the flowers, and then I will get back to you and we'll get those down on the paper. I so want to work on this piece, but it's very difficult to find the time to do that kind of stitchery and do my my love. So, I will be back with you when I have something here. This one and this one, because those, no problemo. Okay, I'll be back. I must admit that while I'm doing this, that this feels rather strange to be tracing my own work. But in a way, it's strange, but I do remember doing this way back then. I was rather tickled with my progress in faces, and I always did like these flowers surrounding her down here. And I've declared that since it's mine, I can do this and share it on as a digi if you are interested, because I'm missing so much time in my studio over this modern world of computers that let me have a quick look. Oh yes, there it is. So we have 3. We do have 3. And I'm going to put that aside because I don't need to trace the rest of it. But I think I'm going to keep that. Now, another thought. But first, let's see if you're able to see what we have so far. Here's the first flower. It matches this one down here and this one. So, I'm going to pick a pen and start outlining here, and I know that you certainly don't want me to watch the entire process, but I just bought these the other day, and let's see what we have here. Let's see. What exactly do I want here? There's 505, and this of course is the Micron archival ink. Oh, not that one. Too fine. Too fine. Let's see what happens if I start with 5. I might have to go back to the well, but let's see what happens now. And let's darken our mountains and valleys. Okey-dokey. I'm going to try to do it at the same time so I don't have to come back and revisit. And this one, this micron seems to be making a dark enough line. That's my quandary as to whether or not it really is dark enough. We'll see. Because there's always uniball signal. do hope that you're well and have been able to find some time to do a little arting. For a person who knows as little as I do about computers, when I saw mine going out the door, boy oh boy, did I say ooh. I did not realize how very much my arting to share with you in our times together and your lovely comments meant to me. And I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for the lovely, lovely comments that I receive. An old friend shared with me that, of course, he's not artistic or interested, but he said that at night, sometimes when he wakes up because he is unable to sleep, he's in process of being medicated for cancer. And he says that sometimes he puts on my videos and whiles away some time before he manages to fall asleep again by listening to me natter on. It made me so, so happy. My husband and I went to the antique mall where he and his partner have a lovely lunch place, and we browsed and I found some goodies, and then we went in and had some lunch. And I found some wonderful things, some wonderful vintage papers that I will be able to share. Okay, now let's have a quick look and see where we're going here. Alrighty, more dark needed here now. Definitely more dark needed here. So, and when all else fails, let's get to adding the dark. Oh my, I love doing this so much. And if it goes over the edge a little bit, which it does, that gets fixed by darkening the edges, which is a good thing anyhow. Okay, and this white bit is going to be cut off. Okay. Now, let's get cracking, Carol. trick is to keep the lines to display motion of something that's has life in it. And when the space is too big, you come back and you cheat a little bit. Mountains and valleys. This one doesn't have too many mountains and valleys, so I'm going to make some. Definite valley, definite mountain, mountain. Let's see what's happening. Okay, now I'm going to do these three, and ooh, oh, no, this won't do, Carol. Here we go. Don't you cheat, Carol, it shows. There. I'm liking the way this, the second layer is showing through. I hope that keeps up. I'll be back. Well, I'm back, and I think it's about time that I stopped this because I'm thinking I'm going to start to get twitchy from it, even though I love it more than I can imagine possible, before I decided that this needed to be here. So here we are thus far. And it's time now for me to give this a serious think. I need to ignore all of the background and do something up here with the girl. Plus, I think it's time for a little bit of water and a sit down and maybe a little bit of video time. And by then, I ought to have more of an idea about what is going to happen up here. So, as you can see, here is my girl. I finished 3 flowers. We did that together. And then I had a video break and a little read. And then decided that this needed some stems and leaves. And in order to do the stems and leaves, I wanted to plan where they would go. So I laid this down on top of the background, and I penciled in the stems first, and then I penciled in leaves, and I used them as a lead out for where to place these. I lifted the paper each time and just freehanded in the same area these leaves. Excuse me. And I finished them up with just the barest. I used the smallest of my new pens, the Micron 01, and then I went into my my stash of lace, and I cut the pieces up individually so that I could see the layout. And all I did was make make one of these, and each of these are connected that way with a piece of Scotch tape, so that I was able to walk it over to my printer and make a copy on matte photo paper. So this is our workplace, and this is the final print. And there she is with her white and natural flowers, and she's finished up. A word now about the stems and leaves. Using the Micron 5 that I did on the flowers did not leave enough of a mark to suit me. It wasn't black enough to stand up to these lined flowers. So I got out my best friend in the world, my Pilot G2, and went over them. As you can see, they are darker. I went over, and a little bit thicker. I just went over the leaves and the stems. And that gave me my my bit that suited me. So here she is. Here's my girl. It has been great fun. And now I'm going to get to see whether or not I can put this whole thing into the laptop behind me, so that I can send this to you before I come back from vacation. And I can hear that laptop sniggering right now. So let's get a little bit closer look. All right, here's our girl with the attached pieces of lace, and you'll notice that the printer picked them up to be whiter than they are here, and I love it because it gives a little bit more contrast here and here. And then here's a close-up look at the flowers, and I am so thrilled that that second coat of using my handmade stamps is showing through. We did not lose too much of the underbits. Here's this corner, and there's my printer with a life of its own. So, if you have enjoyed sharing this time with me, I would certainly appreciate you giving me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share with a friend. Bye now.